Kakadosh Boker or Bekiim Bahalacha 2, day 41, Siman 3. Halacha Kafbet, page 138. It is permissible to train little children to recite blessings and verses of the Torah, even though they are not yet mature enough to cleanse their bodies thoroughly after using the restroom. The mitzvah of educating children in the Torah fulfill mitzvot of rise is concerned. Likewise, it is permissible to sit next to the children and recite prayers with them, as long as no odor of excrement emanates from them. Despite this, it is important to train children to maintain good hygiene and clean themselves thoroughly after defecating. In most cases, it is mainly the responsibility of the child's mother to teach him to do this. Okay? Fine, there was nothing there. 23. Wiping with the left hand. It is forbidden to wipe oneself clean with one's right hand. Okay, even when using the left hand, one must take care not to use the middle finger, since the tefillin strap is wrapped around the middle finger. One must extend that finger upwards and use the other fingers to wipe. If this is difficult because the skin is soiled extensively, one may use all fingers of the left hand. 136 and 137. Gemara offers several reasons for this halacha. Rabbi Eliezer taught that this is because that one eats with the right hand. So inserting the fingers, holding the food directly into one's mouth. So therefore, you just put it in the back part and down in the mouth. That's number one. Rabbi Yoshua taught that it is because one writes the Torah with the right hand. Meaning, since you write Torah with the right hand, you don't want to use it for that. Rabbi Akiva taught that it is because one uses the right hand to signal the ta'amim. Okay, so when you use the ta'amim, you do it with the right hand. Rava taught that it is because the Torah was given with Hashem's right hand. Right? And he says, and the last one, Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish taught that it is because one uses the right hand to wrap the tefillin straps around the left arm. Okay? So therefore, we have a whole bunch of different opinions why. So now he says 137 says the source for this detail of the halacha. So that's why, because of that, there's many different reasons why we don't use, right, the right hand. Obviously, for a lefty, you would. I'm sure he probably says that later on. Fine. Yes, he does. A left-handed person. Fine. One second. Thank you. The source for this detail of not using the middle finger of the halacha is Shnei Luchot Brit, in the Magen Avraham and other Achronim. The Marsha asks that if this halacha is based upon the mitzvah of tefillin, as Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, which is the last one, it should be the exact opposite. It should be forbidden to use the left hand, since we wrap the tefillin around the left arm. So it must be because the right hand plays an active part in the mitzvah of tefillin, whereas the left arm is just a hand play on just passive. So wiping the skin clean is an action, and we compare it to the action of wrapping the tefillin, which is performed with the right hand. According to this explanation, however, there should be nothing wrong with wiping using the middle finger of the left hand. After all, it plays only a passive role, right, in the mitzvah of the tefillin. The Shlach Kadosh understood the issue differently. It is forbidden to wipe using the fingers of the right hand because they play a part in the mitzvah of tefillin. Right? It is with the fingers of the right hand that one wraps the tefillin around the left arm. The fingers of the left hand play no part in the mitzvah of the tefillin, and therefore one may wipe the skin clean with them. Of course, the middle finger plays an important part in the mitzvah of tefillin, and therefore it is forbidden to use the finger for this purpose. Rav Yosef Chaim wrote this explanation in Sefer Mikabtziel. That's a Ben Ish Chai. You wrote in the Mikabtziel. So again, there's different reasonings, and each one has different nafkaminas, obviously. Although women do not wear tefillin, they should nevertheless also learn to wipe themselves with the left hand, not the right hand. And a left-handed person, however, should wipe himself with the right hand. 138. Moruxia states that women, just like men, may not wipe themselves clean with the right hand. But Arav Chida. Yeah, he comes and he says, Arav Chida. By the way, the English here, number 23, I disagree a little bit with the English. It just says, Lo yekaneach biyad yamin. You should not wipe with the right hand, which that's the Lashon Shulchan Aruch. And then number 23, it says it is forbidden to wipe with the right hand. He doesn't use the Shulchan Aruch, does not use the Ishtamshut of the Asur, but okay. He says here, the Moruxia rule states that the women, just like men, may not wipe themselves with the right hand, but the Rav Chida countered that there's no proof for this stringency. Ben Ish Chai, he comes and he's quoted in the Tzachava Chaim, says that although women do not wear tefillin, they should nevertheless refrain also from using it based on the other reasons of the Gemara. Meaning, you're right. Meaning, if you tell me that the main reason is only because of the tefillin, so then just take it off. So that's it. But there's other reasons. Whether it's Hashem gave the Torah, whether it's right hand, whether you write the Torah with your right hand, with other. So that's why. See more about this in Birkat Yehuda Beracha. The Minchat Aaron wrote that the rule to refrain from wiping with the middle finger of the left hand applies only to men, but not to women. Women who do not wear tefillin may use all the fingers. So even if you're going to tell me that it does apply to them to use the right hand, right? That means that they're not allowed to use the sorry. Right, thank you. He says, but they can use the middle finger. Fine. What about a lefty? So listen to this. According to most of the reasons stated in the Talmud, for this halacha, it is reversed for a left-handed person, since he uses the left hand in the manner that the majority of people use with the right hand. First of all, he eats with the left hand, so that was the first answer. He writes with it, so that was another answer. He points with it, and right, which is the ta'amin, he points with it, so it's the third answer. And he does the tefillin. So that means basically you have the reason that Hashem gave the Torah with the right. But other than that, all the other ones, right? Whether it's the signals of the ta'amin, whether it's the eating with it, whether it's because writing with it, or the tefillin, everything is the exact opposite. So 4 out of the 5 is the exact opposite. So accordingly, you should use his right hand to wipe his body clean. According to the 4th reason, offering the Gemara that Kadosh Baruch Hu gave the Torah with his right hand, so he says the left-handed person should still use the left hand like everybody else. Chronologically, this reason was the last one offered since Rava lived in a later generation than that of the other Tanaim or of Rabbi Shimon Lakish. That means even though, meaning in chronological order, this is the last reason. All the other ones come first, because even the Shakish, which was the last one that we have, really came before Rava. Remember, Rava was at the end, right? Or at the end. The Magen Avraham debated whether there should be a reason to determine the halacha for left-handed people. Logically, however, his opinion should not override those of the great Tanaim. The Achronim ruled that Rava's opinion cannot override the 4 Talmudic sages, and therefore a left-handed person must use his right hand to wipe himself. See the Mishabra and the Kavachayim. So basically, now the reason, you understood the reason why. Because according to the other reasons, it's wrong. Meaning it's not just like, why don't we just be stringent like Rava? You can't, because then you're doing it wrong. The Ben Ish Chai came and decided this ruling, but then challenged it. He said, according to his own ruling, right, a left-handed person should wear tefillin on both arms, but not at the same time. This is Shittat Ben Ish Chai. It's a famous Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai says that a lefty should put on tefillin on both arms, right, but not at the same time. This is because most poskim rule the left-handed people should wear tefillin on the right arm, but the Mahari Tzemach ruled that all people must wear tefillin on the left arms. Since this person, right, does use his right hand to wrap tefillin on the left arm, it's best to wipe himself with his left, like everybody else. Meaning, if you're going to go like the Ben Ish Chai and the Ben Ish Chai Shita told you're putting tefillin ben kach on both arms, so then just do it like a regular righty. Maran that Rishon LeZion disagreed with the Ben Ish Chai, ruling that a left-handed person should wear tefillin on both arms. He demonstrated that the plain meaning of the Gemara and the straightforward of ruling of all the poskim is that left-handed person wears tefillin only on the right arm. Maritzach stands alone with his ruling to wear tefillin on the other arm, right? And therefore, there's no need to take his opinion into account. That Oziel also likewise made no such a suggestion. A left-handed person should wear tefillin on his right arm only. This being the case, it follows that he definitely should wipe himself with the right hand. Unlike the ruling of the Mekabtziel, if someone insists on following the decision towards tefillin in both arms, then he should follow the instruction given in the Mekabtziel and wipe himself with the left hand. Fine. According to some poskim, these rules apply only when wiping the skin with one bear's hand. When using toilet paper, you may use either hand, and there's basis to rely on this opinion. 140, Rav Zalman. He says that Rav Zalman ruled that those people who clean themselves with their bare fingers must use their left hand, since the fingers on the right hand wrap that tefillin on the left arm. It appears, right, from this, that this issue of using one hand, right, or the other only applies when you're using bare fingers. But if you're using toilet paper, however, it makes no difference, right, with which hand. This is likewise with Yaakov Emnin, right, the Ya'abetz, and the Eshel Avram Botchach. He says, see more about this in the response of Ben Moshe. Rav Shlomo Gansfried, this is a Chitzur Shulchan Aruch Gansfried, right, took this issue with this, declaring that he's certain that the Tanaim did not clean themselves with their bare fingers. Therefore, he insisted that lacha forbidding even applies to toilet paper, right? Even if they would maybe use their bare fingers, but with a rock, with a stone, as brought down in the Gemara and other places. But bare fingers, who's going to use bare fingers? So he says the Ber Yaakov and the Nimukei Orachaim agree with Rav Zalman. However, they explain that on the contrary, in all likelihood, our sages did clean themselves with bare fingers. The response of Tzitz Eliezer concurred with this and ruled, in practice, one may use his right hand to wipe if one uses toilet paper. El Kusa did not make a clear ruling on this issue. The Halacha Brura ruled that if someone finds it difficult to use his left hand, he may rely upon Rav Zalman's opinion. Meaning, the Yalkut Yosef didn't paskin. He just brought down the shitot and that's it. But the Halacha Brura said, listen, if it's difficult, you could rely upon the Rav Zalman. He says the response of Birkat Yehuda challenges, claiming that the Gemara and the Poskim give no hint of such a distinction. Even though the Chesed Alafim, the Ben Ish Chai, knew of the concept using toilet paper and mentioned it in their works, they did not mention that you may. That means they did not mention that one may use the right hand with paper. Meaning the Ben Ish Chai knew about this. They didn't mention any differences. So therefore, what's going on? This is a weak argument. The Talmud did not make any such distinction, since practically speaking, even if someone used a stone or a leaf to wipe himself, he was bound to soil his hand as well. Therefore, the general rule was to use only the left hand. Now that we have toilet paper, however, it is entirely possible to wipe the skin clean without soiling the hands at all. Therefore, the base of the religion remains valid. Furthermore, the Tzitz Eliezer argued that since most people are more nimble with the right hand than with the left hand, it is better to clean the skin thoroughly with the right hand, right, than to use the left hand and leave the skin soiled. Zalman's ruling can be supported by the comment of the Rishim Shon Bar Tzemach, Rashbatz, the Ginsei Haim Chutner. Chutner cited support from the Ramban, in his Milchemet Hashem to Berachot. Therefore, there is certainly a strong basis for this leniency. Fine. What about changing diapers? One second. Right? What about changing diapers? Why? Because changing diapers, right, is not that you're cleaning yourself, you're cleaning the baby. So Pisket Shuvot mentions the issue of changing an infant's dirty diapers. He says, asking whether the adult must wipe the baby clean with his left or his right hand, with his or her left hand. So he says he did not issue any ruling about this, but the logic dictates that the halacha applies in this case as well. The response of Shadei Yosher ruled that it makes no difference whether one wipes his own body or somebody else. Meaning, what's the difference between whose body? At the end of the day, it's the same halacha. During the first months of an infant's life, when he's too young to eat bread or cereal, his excrement is not considered dirty substance, following the ruling of the Shulchan Aruch, which means that that's why you're allowed even to pray against it and anything. There's no problem. Until he eats chita. That's what the Gemara says. Right? So he says, if so, it probably does not matter which hand one uses to change the child, right? Until he begins eating bread or cereal. Even though there are poskim who rule that even a newborn's excrement is a dirty substance, it is not necessary to take the opinion into account. Once the infant is older, however, one should refrain from wiping him clean with the right hand. It is best that the woman observe this stringency as well. Nevertheless, since the common practice is to clean infant using a baby wipe and not the bare hand, again, you have what to rely on. Because if we just said that using toilet paper, you have what to rely on, you could use either hand, and you do have what to rely on. And here it's also a woman, so all the more so that you could actually come and you have this, that you could be lenient. The last halacha is 24. It is permissible to kill a louse with one's fingers, right? With the fingers of one's right hand, a lice, right? A louse is singular, right? Kina, right? So he says kinim is in plural, right? Louse and lice. With the fingers of one right hand. Likewise, it's permissible to use one's right hand to wipe one's legs clean if urine, right, if it splatters onto them. 141, the Nemukei Yosef, right, cited by Moran and Bet Yosef, rule that it is permissible to wipe splatters of urine from one's skin with the right hand. The Eliyahu added that according to this, it should be permissible to kill a louse with one's right hand. The Ben Ishchai concur with this. The Poskim, right, these both interpreted the halakha demanding that the left hand be used, applying only when handling human excrement and not other unclean substance. Meaning, is it a din in something unclean or is it just excrement? So we're saying it's only excrement. Everything else, even if it's urine, you're allowed to. As mentioned above in footnote halakha number 7, the Mekor Chaim ridicule those who take care not to wipe their noses with the right hand. Well, but what about carrying out the refuse? Whether you're carrying out the garbage or whatever it is, or refuse. Refuse is garbage, anything of bad. So he says, Zafike Meginim states that although it is forbidden to wipe one's body with the right hand, one might carry out the garbage or a container of excrement with one's right hand. This brought a proof that a plumber may open pipes containing raw sewage with his right hand. Of course, when he's done, he should wash his hands thoroughly, obviously, but basically it's only an actual deen of the actual cleaning the body, not if you're just taking out the garbage or taking out other things or whatever it is.